So good afternoon, Anandi.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for joining us in this new conversation about the psychic being. To start, could you tell us, please, are you in contact with your psychic being, and if so, how does it manifest?
Sometimes there is a sweetness. Sweetness which is what I can feel perhaps a bit now, indescribable. But when I feel it, my whole being is relaxed, aligned within, perhaps also aligned with the environment, with something larger. And everything feels just right at those moments. Perhaps sometimes there are inspirations and a kind of knowing that comes, or the movements of life, activities become more in a flow.
Okay.
As if you are carried along the ebb of the river, of the ocean. At least now, I feel more and more just assured in my being, even when it's not there so much in front. I know it is there behind, supporting life itself, supporting all the movements of life. I did have some special moments in my childhood. I remember when I was very little, I felt that this life is about discovering all the potentials and bringing them out. Not only in me, but perhaps in everyone. That was a feeling. I was just feeling it for the moment, and it left a lasting impression on me. Only much later on I was able to verbalize it, to express it.
So you would say that in the beginning of your life, in your childhood, teenagerhood, it was more some kind of spontaneous feeling, and now you can just understand what is happening within yourself. Could it say so?
Yes, perhaps now more aware of how precious those contacts or those moments are. I would still feel this movement of the psychic being is something that is not planned, or you can approach it by some skills, tools, ways. Perhaps these can help, or they may hinder the actual contact. The beauty of it is that spontaneity. I actually don't know when I will be in contact with it fully. Next moment, maybe it will come, I don't know. I don't do many practices, but now I'm kind of more accepting life in its different dimensions, facets, accepting that the world as it is, myself as I am now, is not perfect, and it can have many kinds of different movements. More accepting, but not just staying at the status quo, and sometimes striving hard to improve. and then it's going to more of something excessive effort, which is not helping. It comes sometimes in the midst of those movements, those efforts, or sometimes after all have failed and something else comes. So it's difficult to say when it comes, but it does come, and more often. And I feel that is the beauty of being immersed in this environment, whether we choose specific methods to practice or not, we are in it. I do have met with quite a lot of challenging moments in life, and especially life here in Auroville. At one point I felt it was too much. I had decided to stay here for lifelong, but at that moment I felt, should I leave? And I went to the ashram, stayed there for 1 week, and I wanted to find what makes me stay. And I met some people, not specifically the famous sadhaks or certain classes, places that you can go to, but just by wandering around, going around in the streets, I met with some old ashramites. I didn't know them, but I felt in them that tangible sweetness. I remember saying to myself, oh, that is it. That is the sweetness that I would like to always have. And sometimes I forget about it. And it was such a reminder, especially when in the difficult moments, I could just forget about it. And so those moments of grace, of sweetness, of lightness comes as a very stark contrast. But it is not a contrast in the human mind sense, because I couldn't put these two states of being, the moment when I was in sweetness and in lightness, with those difficult, challenging moments. But I do feel very, very clear shifts happen inside of me. And of course, it can be seen. People can also notice that. So now what in my daily life, what I feel is more important is not so much the talking, even the kind of seemingly important talking we are doing now. It is important if we bring that full consciousness or awareness to it. But I do feel there are ambiences, a person's state of being, kind of says it all.
So could you say that being in contact with a psychic being is not necessarily an isolated purpose, but it could also happen in a relationship or in a group or in a meeting or with some. It's not a personal affair. It could also be shared with other people.
It can. I remember in some meetings, I used to be a silent presence keeper in meetings charged with argument. And at certain moments, some kind of silence in the air comes, and everybody felt it, and everybody started to kind of see each other's points of view, and the agreement comes. It's just miraculous.
Okay.
There have been such moments, yes.
So could we say that in such moments there is some kind of psychic field or psychic atmosphere that comes up in the meeting or in the sharing altogether?
Yes, it's just the quality of the air. It has a fragrance, it has a sweetness, it has a charged presence. That so much so that it kind of your personal charged energies, your frustrations, the thoughts that have been boiling inside of you, they kind of dissipate, quiet down, and something else comes. Everybody brings out what is very true in them in those moments. And even if on the outside there seems still to be different roles that each person plays and different perspectives could still be there, but somehow without even, I would say, facilitation, those moments bring a kind of harmony of really agreeing with each other from a deeper place.
Okay.
I have seen that, I have experienced that myself. Sometimes in home settings also. I've been to gatherings where you know that each person is very different in their opinions about certain things. And yet, on those occasions, everything seems to flow all right. And I also remember sometimes when I am not in my truest inner state, I used to use my mind or emotions to kind of feel about certain things, to decide on certain things, which can seem to be the right thing, good for me, good for others. But then my body honestly tells me this is not right, and I have to acknowledge that.
Your body, do you
My
mean?
body responds, I think, very precisely to what is the true movement and what is not.
Oh, your physical body, you
My
mean?
physical body responds to that. So I feel it is a kind of a blessing. And also it can be very challenging because we live in this kind of Auroville soup where all ingredients are there. So when I come into a setting or in contact with someone, then the body tells me certain things.
So would you say that for assessing truly that the psychic being is in front, it should require that the body, the physical aspect of the body, the vital, the mental, everything should be aligned or congruent? Could you say so?
We would be very blessed if that happens. There are moments in my experience when everything is aligned. There are moments when that something that is more true comes more in the front, but the other movements are still there. So I could feel different layers, stratas of my being coexisting. So it's hard to say.
When you think and you feel that you are in contact with your psychic being, how does it last? How many times can this feeling or this sensation could last in your own experience?
I guess sometimes it lasts longer, sometimes it's just a brief moment. But even those, I think duration doesn't matter too much for me now, because I know I need actually to perhaps cleanse myself more and to go deeper into my own being, to be more focused, not scattered everywhere. All the kind of inner outer work that needs to happen is just an ongoing process. Sometimes it comes, stays, sometimes it just goes like that. There have been moments where I felt it's a moment in eternity. The time seems to be stilled in those moments. So it is, its value is beyond the time and space. So I don't make a special effort to make it last.
Okay. Could you share with us some one or two significant moments that happened in your life when you were pretty sure that something was happening regarding your psychic being?
There are quite a few moments. I think something happened to me recently during the Auroville birthday week. Something triggered me and I was in inner turmoil. It has its own energetic charge. I tried to kind of to observe it, accept it, to reject it, or to reason it out. Tried many different ways, and still it has its own momentum. It was there, and I could see many different movements inside me. And I became so kind of self-compassionate. And
Towards yourself?
Yeah, because wow, everything is just there, playing out the drama, just because of some trigger. The trigger can be small or can be big, but it doesn't matter. It triggered a process inside of me that I had to look at myself. And then at a certain moment, I felt everything I felt valuable, everything I've been working for, crumbled. I was not able to rely on anybody and anything. And so those moments of a vacuum, and life still goes on in those days.
Yeah.
And then somehow something else happens, a total shift to something very, very kind of luminous and full of light, creativity, and almost turning everything the other way around. And it was after all this, all the process have exhausted themselves.
Yeah, naturally.
But I would say it's more and more coming, not at the end of a process like that, but it's more and more coming all the way during. So I know there is something that is very certain, that is guarding almost the whole process, upholding it, so that it can emerge and be processed. And so I also felt that even when I felt quite challenged, I felt there is something, some kind of foundation, some very tangible face,
and this,
that is other than those all those movements. It is there.
And this is connected to the psychic, would you say?
Yes.
I think
it's not from the mind only or emotions. It may have been built, I think, also through experience, because I just believed in integral yoga, believed in Auroville and my stay here or its future with its endless challenges and possibilities. I just felt it's not a blind belief, blind faith. I just felt so certain. And so now going through all these different movements, I still feel it's there. I haven't really fundamentally doubted. And it's going deeper, in fact, each time. Perhaps just because of these challenges, just because of all the things that we need to look at in ourselves, to work on, I felt it's especially valuable. So that is there.
There is a benefit, ultimately.
So I cannot say whether it's psychic or not, but it's there.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank
Anandi.
you.